evening, everyone. I'd like to call this meeting to order. If you're able, will you please stand as we observe a moment of silence followed by the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance
to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. Next item, there would be election of school board officers for this new year. Do we have any nominations?
I'd like to make a motion to nominate the 3 existing officers to stay as is. Linda Glover as president, Jeff Baker as vice, and George Nigner as secretary.
I'll second that.
Do we have any other nominations? Any other discussion?
Jordan, you good with doing all those votes tallies again?
I think I can handle it. Yep.
You've done such a fine job, we'd love for you to do it again.
No problem.
That's right.
Yep.
All in favor of said motion, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carried. And thank you.
And thank you all for your service in
Yes.
doing
Yes.
it and
Thank
taking
you.
those offices.
And now you gotta stand up and get sworn at.
Yes.
If each of you 3 can please rise. We're going to attempt this all together if we can. Please raise your right hand. I, say your name,
I, Jordan Eichner,
I, Linda Glover,
solemnly swear that I will support
solemnly swear that I will support
the Constitution of the United States of America,
the Constitution of the United States of America,
the Constitution of the State of Indiana,
the
Constitution of the State of Indiana,
and the laws of the United States and the State of Indiana.
and the laws of the United States and the State of Indiana.
I will faithfully execute
I will faithfully execute
the duties of my office
the duties of my office
as
President
as Secretary
as Vice President
of the Board of Trustees of the Warwick County School Corporation.
of the Board of Trustees of the Warwick County School Corporation.
So help me God.
So help me God.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Good job.
Thank you. Has everybody turned in their disclosure statement?
Yep.
Very good. Okay, next, after conferring with others, everyone, the committees this year, we have on the bid committee will be Mr. Eigner and myself. Construction, technology, transportation, and maintenance, Mr. Eigner, Mr. Franz, Mr. Mosby. Student learning and growth, Mr. Baker, Mr. Skinner, Mrs. Wilhelmus. Personnel, custodians, food, nutrition, Mr. Baker, Mr. Mosby, Mr. Skinner. Policy committee will be Mr. Franz, myself, and Mrs. Wilhelmus. If you have any questions or want to make changes, let me know. Otherwise, we'll stand as announced. And thank you. Okay, next, no one signed up to address the board with any comments or concerns. So Dr. Redmond, if you'll introduce our guest speaker.
Thank you. Before I introduce our guest speaker, I did just want to say to all of our board members, thank you for your advocacy, governance, and support. This is the month for school board appreciation this January. So I just thank you all for your service to our students and community. Thank you.
Thank you.
Our guest speaker this evening is Mr. Ethan Jaworski. Had the opportunity to have some email communication with Ethan about the University of Evansville's esports program. So he's going to tell us a little bit more about what they do and maybe just discuss a little bit about some possibilities for partnering with Warwick. Ethan.
Hello, thank you for having me. Can everybody hear me?
Yes.
Good in the back? Awesome. Thank you very much for having me tonight. It truly means a lot. My name is Ethan Jaworski. I'm the new UE head coach for our esports program. I just took this position over the summer after recently being a graduate from the university and being on the Overwatch 2 esports team and winning a national championship. It was a pretty awesome experience, not only being a student at UE, but also a player for the program, and now being able to turn around and give right back to the players that we have now and future players that we're going to have the same experience that I have had. But a little bit about what I want to talk to you guys is, of course, what is esports? It's a tricky topic, and I promise if you don't understand it, you probably won't understand it by the end of tonight either. It's gonna take time, but I'm gonna do whatever I can to not fluff it up with a lot of unnecessary technology information that isn't necessarily relevant. But also just kind of how it operates not only in college, but in high school as well, and then maybe some goals that we could work on from this, of course. But to start off, what is esports? I think the most important thing that I like to say first is we're not the stereotype of what some people see video games are, and that's as a time waster, addicting, you don't get anything out of it, and that certainly can be the case. It's the case for many people across the country, across the world, but that's not necessarily what esports is. Esports is a structured program or team of a game, or in UE's example, multiple games, where you could roster a set team and they work together towards a similar goal, that is winning. And it's based in games where it is competitive, so there is a winner and a loser, not necessarily story-based games. It's not a traditional sport in a physical aspect. A lot of people, there's a big debate on if it's an athletic sport or not. A lot of people have their different opinions on it. I don't think it's important either way. It's not physically comparable to athletics, but there's a lot of things within the settings and theme of esports that are similar. The fact that it's an organized team-based experience of multiple players, again, working towards a similar goal. They're gonna have to learn each other, who they are personally, how to communicate with one another, how to work with somebody who might be having a bad day, how to work with somebody who might be having a bad year, being able to step up and be a leader. All of these different developmental things that come together like you would see in sports towards a common goal. So is it athletics? No, it's not. But is it esports? Is it its own thing? Certainly it is. And I think once that's kind of understood, it's easier to kind of understand what esports is. How many of you guys have a child or a grandchild that play video games? Yeah? Are they competitive? Look the way they speak. Can you hear them in their rooms hooting and hollering and stuff? That's how our players are. And we play to compete, certainly. That's what we're all about. We do focus on our academics primarily at the University of Evansville. We do have a 3.0 GPA minimum. We do have a 1 semester grace. If a student has a rough semester, we do show them grace. But we value the importance of academics because that's the main reason why we're there. But at the same time, esports is a hobby for a lot of our students at the University of Evansville. It's almost a stress release for them, if you will, whether it just be them being able to do their hobby or compete. It's kind of a break from school, but also a way for them to grow their social relationships and their bond really with their time at the academic institution. A lot of times in today's society, you'll kind of see the students now kind of disassociate just slightly when they don't have a direction of where to go in school. And obviously that's something that we combat in all levels of education from kindergarten through college. And esports is a wild way of the attitude for the University of Evansville students to kind of shift, because there was plenty of students who had filled out a survey before they joined the program that were students before joining the program at the University of Evansville. They didn't come in as freshmen. And the survey given to them before they joined the program was how their time was at the university, what they did, the odds of them staying at the university, and how it's affected their overall experience at the university. And they were also given the same survey a year after they had joined, and every single survey showed a positive impact on their social life and also just what they do in their free time, with 3 of those students claiming that they would have dropped out of the university if it wasn't for the esports program, giving them a place to be. The fact of the matter is, video games have taken over our country, our world. I mean, they're huge now, and it's going to keep on growing. We saw a bit of a fall off once COVID hit, but that's not the case anymore. And the brand itself, esports, is growing even more and even more. There's plenty of high schools across America. We have some very well-established ones near. Gibson Southern has a very established esports program, and I believe they have just about 4 or 5 students that graduate from their program receive a scholarship to compete in esports from universities across the country. And that kind of goes into my next point of scholarships. Currently, when I took over the position at the University of Evansville, they did not offer scholarships, but they wanted to build an additional room up top. And I actually told them that I didn't want to build that room because of how important scholarships are for the students, for the families in the area, or really any student that's going to come to the University of Evansville. So not only just us are working on the scholarship things, but there's plenty of other programs around that also offer scholarships. The closest one's going to be Oakland City. I believe they offer 5 or 6 scholarships per year for esports. A little bit about what it looks in high school. I never experienced esports in high school. I graduated from Castle. I loved my time at Castle. But esports was always something that I always had as a fantasy. I wanted to be a professional video game player. But it was a bit of a pipe dream. And once I enrolled into the university, there wasn't esports at the time, and I was a bit lost until it was formed. But since speaking with some of my players who had been in a high school esports program, the reviews were astonishing. It was phenomenal. The amount of them that openly agreed that it enhanced their time at that educational institution. It gave them a social home, a place for them to connect, build relationships, work on the communication skills, the leadership skills, the competitive skills that all come with esports. And it's a hobby. It's a hobby. And this, I mean, it's almost like a cheat code of providing happiness to somebody that likes to play video games, especially if they, want to pursue it to something greater like being a coach or a professional player. At the University of Evansville, we try to keep it the same. We don't want to overstimulate. We don't want to overwork our students. Again, I don't want to label esports as a time waster. We have a maximum of 6 hours that they're allowed to be in the facility per week, max. That's as long as they're allowed to be in there to ensure that not only are they practicing adequately for our team, of course, but they're focusing on the main criteria of why they're here, and that's to receive their degree. And that could definitely be the same as in high school. Unfortunately, it does take monitoring. It does take pushing the students to, maintain the big goal of what they're doing, and that's ultimately to receive their education and to get a degree. But can it also, in turn, relieve some of the academic stress of a student? Could they be more inclined to start attending school more often, or be happier when they're attending school, or just want to be there more simply because they have esports at the end of the day? Possibly. We see that effect at the University of Evansville, just about each and every single one of our students. And most of our roster is freshmen, so students that have just graduated high school. There's other personal and professional opportunities that we could certainly grow from this. Many players that want to play video games, I've spoken on this, want to be professional players, but a lot of them pull from content creation off of YouTube and streaming platforms. That's all stuff that is all centered around esports, streaming, YouTube, posting all that stuff. It's what we do. It's what we do at the University of Evansville, and we've actually partnered with Creative Technologies and creating a course where their students will come over and help produce and operate our live streams and commentate on the live streams to help further the bubble of students that, could get something out of our program, whether they're a player, whether they just want to work on commentary. Maybe they want to have 4 years of commentary experience because they want to be on ESPN someday. It's so many more ways that you could branch it out outside of just wasting time playing video games. Because you can waste your time playing video games, but not if you have it, in a controlled organization. I don't want to take up too much more time. I guess I could go a little bit into some of the goals that I would like to see here. First and foremost, it's really just connecting all the students that we have. It's something that means a lot to me. If it wasn't for the esports program at the University of Evansville, there was a decent chance I would have transferred out. I didn't think that the university was for me. I wasn't having a lot of fun. And ultimately, I actually spoke to a professor who had told me about the esports program before he was supposed to tell me about it. And I was like, okay, well, I'll stay. Well, if it wasn't for that, I wouldn't have been able to experience something what I used to consider a dream than a pipe dream. And if it wasn't for that, I wouldn't have become a national champion. And if it wasn't for that, I probably wouldn't be speaking to you guys today with the position that I have. All that changed in the past 2 or 3 years simply because of esports. And I know that I'm just one of many. And I would love to provide the opportunity of just the enjoyment of it, if they want to get something professional out of it, if they want to develop further skills out of it, streaming, content creation, all that stuff, or if they just want similar like-minded people to connect with. That's very, very important to me. I'm working very closely with the diocese as well. My future mother-in-law is Michelle Pryor, so she's been great so far. So I'm trying to get the diocese onto the same board, and they've been positively receptive to it as well. You know, with the right ideas in mind, and not trying to over abuse it or just create it and let it be, right? It's something that has to be controlled. And finally, the last thing that I'd really like to get out of this is showing students opportunities that they could get from college. I'm sure most of you know the college rates are declining quick. I don't know if it's affecting us in Indiana as much now, but there's plenty of states across the country where we're seeing 10 to 30% enrollment drop-offs. I think that's just going to continue. And my personal opinion of working with a university, and if we're being honest, most of it comes from the financial side of it. None of that is really going to slow down. And ultimately, you can't force a student to go to college. You can never force a student to go to college. But at the end of the day, it is something that is recommended along with trade school and things like that. And so when we show the students that they have eSport opportunities in college as well, you never know how many students that could, you know, a light bulb will turn on in their head and they'll be like, oh wow, I never considered that. Maybe that's something I could do. Maybe they see it as a step up in their professional life. Maybe what they want to pursue is esports. And so just being able to spread the word about what we have. And I think the biggest reason why I want to do that, and the final note I'll leave you guys on with, well, actually I have one more note. I had the students from Harrison High School visit, not all of them, but a group of them. And when they had visited, they got to select 3 places that they wanted to stop at the University at Evansville. Esports was one of them. And so they knew about our program, but they only knew about it because it was on the piece of paper. And when they all came in, almost all of them, whoa, wow, this is crazy, asking questions before I even start speaking about how they could be on the team. And the first question I asked was, how many of you guys even knew this room existed? 1 out of the 47 hands was raised. And so just kind of spreading awareness that, you know, Evansville has a program, Oakland City has a program, IU has a phenomenal program. Illinois State has one of the best programs in the country. There's plenty of colleges around where we could kind of continue this experience for our students, especially if we start in high school. And in some cases, there's middle school teams as well across the country. So I guess the last thing that I would like to get is maybe some communication points so I could start spreading the word at our local high schools and stuff like that. I would like to go about it in the right way, ensure that I'm a welcome guest and can speak to faculty or students if possible, just to kind of tell them about what we have to offer at the University at Evansville. But I'm sorry if I ran a little long on that. It's a lot to talk about. Like I said, you're not going to understand esports after this conversation. It can't happen in one conversation. There's a long road ahead with it. But if I could speak again, if I could help you guys out more in the future, continue to advocate for anything, I would love to be as much of a help with that as I possibly can be. Would any of you guys have any questions? Yes.
I have 2.
Of course.
You mentioned this before, I apologize.
No,
but
please.
How long has esports been around?
So for our program in the University of Evansville, we're actually on our 2-year anniversary. USI's program is not necessarily a program yet. They're still a club. They're student ran. I want to say their club has been around since the 90s. But they're not an established program or anything like that yet. So esports has been around since about the 90s, but I wouldn't say it started booming until 2-3 years ago. It boomed a bit before COVID, but like I said, with the fall off, it ironically enough did more harm than good, which you would think would be the opposite considering the remoteness of video games. It kind of hurt the industry more than it helped it.
And tell me about
Sure.
playoffs and championships and is it nationwide, worldwide,
Sure.
statewide?
Yeah, so the way that we compete, you can compete in different levels of esports. There's different companies that offer seasons that they can create. You will pay to register your team to compete in. We compete in something called the NECC, and that is nationwide. So colleges across the country can sign up and compete in that league. It's broken up in divisions, which are based on skill level, skill range, if you will. And then from there is how they'll kind of establish who you'll play. And then on top of that, in the spring, we compete in the Missouri Valley Conference, just like all different Evansville athletics as well. We compete for Missouri Valley Conference championships. Yeah, we've played teams. We've played Michigan. Well, we've beat Michigan. We've beat IU. We've beat who else? We beat Oregon, Florida, Tennessee. We play massive schools across the country and beat them too.
If we were to walk into your room when
Yeah.
you're doing this, what would we see? Would you all be like doing a different video game, or, I mean, what's it look like?
So the way our facility is set up, we do offer kind of free play, but it's a little bit more serious than you would think. Each game has their own designated row where they compete in. If they come in during the day, they have to show me proof that they're done for the day, and then they could go in and they could practice games if they so choose. Typically, our practices will start in the evening. That's actually where I'm going after this. I'm going right back to our practices because our spring season just started. So during the day, it's kind of just me. But in the afternoon, some of the players will start to trickle in once they're done with their schoolwork and all that. And then towards the evening, we try to break up our practices as much as possible. So generally 2 teams will practice per evening, and we have 6 different teams.
You were a national champion yourself?
For our division, yeah.
Really?
Yes, sir.
Okay.
Yes, sir.
Did you ever play Pitfall?
Uh-uh.
Never played Pitfall?
No.
Did you ever play an Atari game?
I played a couple of Atari's. I'm
Mike Tyson
24.
Punch-Out or Super Mario Brothers? Nothing like that?
Sound like you've done it?
Oh, yeah.
I think my first console was a Sega, if I remember correctly.
Sega?
Sega.
Okay, so you
Yeah.
played some Sonic the Hedgehog then?
Yeah, yeah.
There you go.
Yeah.
Okay. I got off board about
No,
that.
that's okay.
They
That's
have
okay.
this real something.
Huh? Oh, this is going way back.
One other thing,
No, way back is pinball machines.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah.
there is one other thing I actually forgot to talk about. We are partnering with the Indiana Esports Network, which is kind of like the NECC for esports in high school in Indiana. Last year, when they did their seasons and all that, and they had their championship game, they hosted it in Fort Wayne, and they realized that that was a terrible idea for schools like down here that don't really have the money to travel all the way to Fort Wayne. And so this year, they're going to experiment and have different hub spots across the state where the schools will go to that spot and they'll play at the same exact time as the other places. The University of Evansville is going to be the host for this area. So I do have connections with the Indiana Esports Network. They are going to be the ones that would host a hypothetical season in this situation.
And you have spectators,
Oh, yeah.
peanut gallery.
Yeah, my mom is like the most loyal viewer. But yeah, we do have our own stream. It's sent out across campus. We do have plenty of people that tune in. That's another way that you could also make revenue as well. If people are watching your streams, watching your YouTube videos, subscribing to your pages, more ways to kind of make some revenue and turn that back into the program.
Fun.
Very good.
Could you send that information maybe to Dr. Redmond? And
Yeah,
she
of
could
course.
Share that with us?
Of course. And
That
in
would be
terms of
great.
contact information, would it be easier if you just, when I email you that, if you just sent that back to me then? Or,
Yes, yes, I was just gonna say that
Sure.
we have yes, I will get you the correct points of contact, which will
Awesome.
be our building principals and guidance counselors, and we actually have a meeting with all of our building level principals this
Perfect.
Wednesday, so we can kind of put it on their radar at that point, but you and I have contact.
Yes.
We have already shared contact info, so
awesome.
we'll talk more.
Sweet. Well,
Thanks
thank
so
you
much
guys
for
very
coming.
much for your time tonight. I really do appreciate it. So,
Thank
you.
you.
I'm going to go ahead and leave because I have to go
Oh,
to
yeah.
practice.
Go
now,
practice,
so,
go
yes,
practice.
I'm going back to work.
Thank you.
Thank you.
It was fun.
I like how well that fits in with our strategic plan, right, of getting every kid connected somewhere.
Yes.
And this is just a whole different area that some kids aren't connected at all, could have a place.
You know, when to be engaged, and
That's
if
right.
you want to play games, you've got
And when you talk about professional, I can tell you,
And they compete
our
against
practice,
each other online.
it can be extremely lucrative
Like you said,
for people who
and they
do
work
it a
together.
certain
Yes.
way.
Very good, very good.
next, Dr. Redmond, will you present Ms. Wagner?
Yes, thank you, Mrs. Glover. Tonight, Mrs. Tish Wagner, our Director of Special Education, is going to give us an update of all things special ed department. Mrs. Wagner.
Thank you for having me today. So typically, we have talked in the past and spent time discussing our RDA, which is the results-driven accountability and the monitoring we have been under. And we shared that at the retreat and at the work session earlier, and as far as where our students are achieving. And we're happy with that and scoring in 4s or 5s in all areas, which is the top of that scale. But today, we're gonna shift away from that because we actually don't have the current RDAs back. So I don't have any updates to that because they haven't been released yet. But there's a whole lot of other things we can talk about. So today, we're gonna start with getting an idea of just what is our special education department made up of at this time. So currently, we have certified staff is listed on this slide, and we currently have 41 elementary teachers, 21 middle school, 25 high school. Our preschool, we have 7.5, which might sound weird, but if you recall, our preschool is set up into an AM and a PM session. And so in our AM, they attend Monday through Thursday, and that's our 3-year-olds. So those are our babies just coming in. So they just need a little bit more time. A full day or a full week would be a little bit difficult. And then in the afternoon, we have our 4-year-olds and those who could be turning 5 during that year, where they'll be transitioning to kindergarten the following year. So that half is a preschool for the AM at Logue, who we just happen to, it varies from year to year. Some years one fills up more, one year it's the next one. So we did just add that halftime for that preschool for the morning. We have 3 itinerant teachers, which are more specialized teachers, one of which is we call her our itinerant, and she goes to our non-public schools and is in charge of our homeschool students. So she serves as their special education teacher, providing consult services mainly to that group. Additionally, we have a specialized teacher for the deaf, hard of hearing, and a specialized for our blind, low vision students. So those are 3 of our specialty teachers. We have 19 full-time speech therapists and 3 that are part-time, serving anywhere from 2 days to 4 days within that, and they cover preschool all the way through high school. And then we have 8 school psychologists who cover the district. Additionally, we have our related services. So these are any additional supplemental areas that we support. And I'll start with behavior. We currently have 4 behavior consultants that serve within our special education department. We do have a bigger district level team that encompasses some from Dr. Lambert in the student services that are dealing with more of the general education students. And then we work together to team and come together in supporting. It was just a lot of students for our department to try to handle everything. So it's been a good mix of bringing those 2 teams together. So we have 4 behavior consultants that actually do the evaluations and set up behavior plans for our students. And additionally, we have 2, we call them social emotional behavior assistants, which are our assistants that work alongside them and do a lot more coaching in the classrooms with the teachers and staff, or sometimes directly with our students. Our occupational therapy department, we have 2 occupational therapists who do evaluations, and then we additionally have 2 assistants. They're called certified occupational therapy assistants. They're able to do servicing, but they can't actually do the evaluation and set up treatment goals for the students. So that team works together. I'm gonna go to the PT-AT department. We have 1 physical therapist and 1 physical therapy assistant, and they run very similar to occupational therapy. So the physical therapist has to do the evaluations. Our assistant also is in charge of our assistive technology, and so she's involved with helping get devices if students need technology-related items, and she's involved with assessments with that. Our transition team, we have 3, and that is at our high school level. We have a job coach that goes out with students and helps support that. We have 1 who helps just teachers with anything related to that area. There's a lot that's involved when we have a student with disabilities transitioning out of high school, whether it's into colleges or even into the workforce. So they help support both of those. And then the 3rd is our staff member we have at Project Search out at Deaconess. We have 1 music therapist, and a lot of times they're supporting our students with autism who tend to learn more with music based within that. We have 1 interpreter who is a sign language interpreter for a student who has full hearing impairment, so she interprets all day. And then one you probably haven't heard of is an intervener. And this is very specialized. We have one student in the corporation who is deaf-blind. And so think back to Helen Keller, and that's probably one of the most intensive students to be able to treat, because everything we would do for sight, they can't have, because we'd be supporting so much more in the hearing. Well, they don't have that either. So we have a specially trained intervener that had to take coursework through the Department of Ed and our Indiana Deafblind Services. So we do have one student they're supporting. So between our certified staff and our related services, and we have three people on our leadership team, that's the group that's supporting our students every day. So we have a couple of different things here. One is, this is just solely looking at our K-12 students in our public schools. So we talked about our preschool students and our non-pub, and we'll talk about them in a minute. But on the table, you can see, if we just looked at Castle High School, they have 241 students with special needs currently. And then next to that, we have what our specialized classrooms are and where they're located. So we really have 3 specialized classes. One is our autism and behavior support classroom. One is our ED and cell, which is dealing more with supporting behavior. And then one for our functional academic and life skills, which is really supporting students who are on alternative standards and mainly have cognitive disabilities. And so you can see there, total, we are supporting 1,995 students, K-12, in our buildings currently. All of these numbers are based on our December 1 count, so they will be different when we do this by the end of the year. But that is where all of our funding comes from, as our students who are eligible at the time of the December 1, and we'll get to that in a minute. Okay. Any questions with any of those? Okay. So looking beyond those K-12 numbers, this kind of shows you the breakdown of where our other students are. We currently have 282 students that fall within that non-pub, homeschool, or preschool range. In our non-pub, we have 108 students, and you can see a bulk of them are coming to us from Evansville Christian and St. John's. We do have 11 students who are serving homeschool, and then Newburgh Christian and Boonville Christian are where the other small group is at. We do not serve students the same way we do. That group that right there is served completely differently. They actually don't have IEPs, they have service plans, so they don't get the same level of support they would be getting if they were in our schools. And that's something we agree upon with those places prior to. We know we have, here's the amount of funding we have, how do we want to utilize that? So we talk through that with each of those in a consultation meeting annually. Our preschool, you can see that we have 107 students that were within our low developmental preschool, or WEC, which is now at Castle South. And those are students who are attending those classes we talked about earlier, with either in the morning or afternoon session. Additionally, we have a group that may qualify for speech services. Their needs do not require that level of support in the developmental preschool, but they do come in for just the speech services, so they're walking in like they would just any other therapies. And so we serve 64 students that way. And then you can see we have a couple of other students out at some of the smaller that attend there, but they come to us as well. So that's 174 of our preschool students. So our funding is based on the amount of students we are serving on December 1. And so each year we do, it's a big report to the state, but this is how that money is divvied up in the funding for each of those. So level 1 is considered our severe disability students, and at the top you can see the funding amount we get based on each of those disability areas. So anything within that, autism, the ED full-time, multiple disabilities, those are all areas they consider to be severe or intense disabilities, and we would get funded per student at that rate at the top. So currently, the one thing I want to share is the numbers that are on here don't add up to the students we serve. Up at the top, you can see with our combination of our K-12, and along with our non-pub and the preschool, it's 2,277 students. But we get paid for more than just that amount, because we could have a student who has autism, but they also receive speech services. So if you see under level 3, a student who has speech as a secondary eligibility, we get funded for that. So there are 655 students we're getting funding for that, meaning they have an eligibility under the level 1 or level 2 in addition to getting speech. Speech is the only secondary eligibility we get additional funding for. So if you were to add those numbers, my point is they're not gonna add up to the 2277, because we get paid by the disability area, not the student, okay? So 228 students with autism, and I wanna talk about preschool now, because preschool, we get funded for preschool students at that flat rate. So even though on our autism, we might show 228, some of those preschoolers may have autism, but right now we just get funded at a preschool rate. So again, we may have higher eligibility of autism in the corporation, but this is looking at just funding purposes. So any student with preschool, we get $38.20. Speech, whether it's a primary or secondary, it's $551 for the student. And you can see the biggest bulk of our students comes out of the level 2, which is a majority of where our students with learning disabilities, ADHD, those type of things come from. But the highest amount of funding we get is from the level 1. Okay. Any questions with that? Okay. So just to kind of round this out about where we spent a lot of our time this semester, or this year so far. So we've done district teacher meetings in the first semester where we were able to touch base with every one of our special education teachers. At the time, you've heard us talk through where we were with, we had a new 504 system, we had a new IEP system, so a lot of that time during the first semester was focused there. And we met by grade level during that time, just bringing elementary in, then our middle, and then our high. We've started already our second semester meetings, and they've gone well, but we decided to change that focus up a little bit as far as how we did the grouping. We really wanted to target in right now. We spent a lot of time on the IEP paperwork part and learning the new system, but our instructional practices and getting support between each other and having time to collaborate are just important. So that's what this semester is, and so we've already had a meeting with our middle school LD teachers and then our high school LD teachers, and this morning we met with our teachers for emotional disabilities and some of our cell programming, so those behavior classes. And that group, we actually had the whole group together because it's nice for them to meet with so the elementary to be together and work together in middle school and high. And then we had time for them to vertically work together, so the elementary, middle, and high for the districts had time to collaborate and share resources, supplementary materials, and just be able to ask questions on how are you doing this? And so that's been extremely helpful for them. The other thing we wanted to know was, with the new system that we had, we'd done a lot of work, and we wanted to gauge where their comfort levels and how they felt like things were going. So out of the 3 groups that we've already met on, we had 71% rate that their comfort level with the new system was at a 4 or a 5. So we gave them a 5-point scale. So our hope is, if that trend continues with the groups coming in, we're heading in the right direction, and so we feel pretty good there. Additionally, 51% said they were spending less time now writing the actual IEPs than they were when we first started. And another 26% said they were spending significantly less time or were even back to the same amount of time in the old system. So again, we feel like we're trending in the right direction for our teachers.
And just a reminder that the system is a system that our state has given to us to use, just as a reminder. This was not something we decided to do locally.
Yes. And then the last thing to highlight, I know Dr. Redmond had shared, we had several teams that had gone out and presented on different things. We had an occupational therapy team presenting, we had a team from Sharon presenting, One of the things is after the Sharon presentation, we had several groups reach out to us, and we've had 4 already set up visits. 3 set up visits. 1 we did a virtual meeting with. And there's times you're in the trenches and you're doing things and you don't really realize how well you're doing something until you start talking to some of the other schools. And what we're finding out is a lot of schools are where we were 3 or 4 years ago. And if we had had somebody to go visit, it would have been helpful. So we definitely want to help support as many teachers as we can in school districts. So it wasn't just around here. We do have Davies Martin from here, but Perry Township in Indianapolis. We had Warsaw up north, and then Concord School District in Elkhart. So we're equally feeling this, and so supporting them is something we want to continue to do. And then additionally, been asked to present at ICASE, which is a special ed director conference for all of the directors who are in the same way. So we're getting directors, we're getting learning directors, admins, superintendents reaching out to us. So it's something our work, we felt like we were making huge gains with our students, and then after getting feedback, it was nice to hear that it was something others are needing as well and that we can help them along our way. So that's what we've spent this first semester and the start of here doing. Any questions?
So has there been any word, have you heard any, like, is the state going to work out, are they working on this system, or they're going to try to improve, get rid of the kinks and?
That's what they spent the first semester doing. So it is better. It is much better than what it was, and they did take feedback from us. It was the beginning was the worst. And we did keep we made the decision that the first 2 months, while they were really struggling in a lot of corporations, we did not transition over to it right away. It was too much. It was causing a lot of frustration, so we had a backup to do that, and I think that helped ease our people in and allowed us extra time to get training and get them comfortable with the system before we started utilizing it.
So when you give us those funding amounts, does that come from state or federal government? Where's that money coming from?
The federal gives the Part B monies, but then state can determine how to utilize and expend some of that. So the other thing Jeff, I didn't tell you, is part of that funding, they give us a proportionate share amount, and that's the amount we have to spend on our non-public schools. And so we have to show that as well. So, yeah.
Okay. Thank you, Mrs. Wagner.
Thank
Thank
you.
you.
Appreciate the update.
Okay, next, agenda item 10, consideration of routine business. Dr. Redmond.
Thank you, Mrs. Glover. The routine business includes approving the minutes of the school board meeting held on December 15, 2025, and approving the claims and signing the docket. I recommend the board approve the routine items as presented.
Motion to approve.
Second.
Motion by Mr. Mosby, seconded by Mr. Franz. Is there any discussion? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carried. Moving to agenda item 12, consideration of items for board action. Dr. Redmond, we'll start with resolution 2026-1, resolution regarding acquisition of property.
Thank you, Mrs. Glover. Mr. Todd Armstrong has brought to the board Resolution 2026-1, resolution regarding acquisition of property pursuant to Indiana Code 20-26-7-13 for consideration and approval. According to Indiana Code Chapter 36-1-10.5, we have all the numbers tonight, the school board must adopt a resolution designating its interest in purchasing real estate and authorizing a purchasing agent to bring about the effect of the potential purchase of the real estate. I recommend the board approve Resolution 2026-1 as presented.
Motion to approve.
Second.
I have a motion by Mr. Eigner, seconded by Mrs. Wilhelmus. Any discussion? All in favor, say aye.
I need to abstain from this motion.
Okay. Any opposed? Motion carried with one abstention by Mr. Baker. Agenda item 12.2, approve public library board appointment. Dr. Redmond.
Thank you, Mrs. Glover. Brooke Bolton, the director of the Boonville Warwick County Public Library, is requesting the board to reappoint Denise D. Meyer to the Public Library Board. This will be a 4-year term ending on December 31st, 2030. I recommend the board approve the request as submitted.
So moved.
Second.
Go ahead.
Jane.
Jane, second.
Motion by Mr. Baker, seconded by Mrs. Wilhelmus. Is there any discussion? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carried. Agenda item 12.3, approve donations. Dr. Redmond.
Thank you, Mrs. Glover. At WPCC, we have a donation from S&S Machine. They would like to donate a 5x10 welding fabrication table valued at $3,000. Also at WPCC, Amcor would like to donate a 37-piece tooling set valued at $9,225.36. At WEC, a $500 donation from the Jacob Ball Wish Fund to support the creation of a calming space in the social worker's office. Warwick County School Corporation Food and Nutrition Department, we have an $800 donation from an anonymous donor to help pay for past due lunch accounts at Tennyson Elementary. And then we have an additional $509 donation from Robert and Lisa Martin to help pay the past due lunch accounts at Oakdale Elementary. And at Tecumseh High School, we have a $500 donation from Eric Huddleston, Toyota Benevity Program. Funds will be used to help pay for practice packs and cleats as needed for the Tecumseh High School baseball team. I recommend the board approve the donations as presented.
Motion to approve donation.
Second.
We have a motion by Mr. France, seconded by Mr. Mosby. Is there any discussion?
Where is the social worker's office for WEC?
It's actually at Boonville High School right now.
Okay.
Yes, so it's a donation to WEC, but we're physically at Boonville High School. Thank you for that
All right.
clarifying question. Yes, so the social worker is at Boonville High School, and they have a space in that area.
Okay.
where we-
Dr. Redmond, you may not know this and might put Mr. Armstrong on the button here. I was just curious on our outstanding lunches, just kind of curious where that's at annually, you know? I
Oh,
don't know.
annually or
Or just like where
at
we
this
at now?
point in time?
Yeah, at this point in time, sorry.
Total,
Orders of magnitude,
the magnitude,
It ebbs and flows, but
yeah,
total is over $50,000,
totals over 50.
but we're required to pay off the single year, as
Oh.
the seniors are leaving that group's debt at the time, so we always keep ahead by the 1 year, but it's over $50,000 of uncollected.
Okay, I mean, is 1 year 1/4 of that or something, roughly?
Maybe a tenth, maybe,
Really?
yeah. We may pay
Okay.
5,000 or 6,000.
Gotcha.
And fortunately, the donors, the people that are voluntarily paying are providing enough to offset that dollar amount each year. So we're not having to come across the education fund dollars
Yeah.
to fund food service, but at some point, we're probably going to have to venture that path.
Was there like a bubble maybe that happened and then we just carry this bubble, or does it truly ebb and flow?
It's been gradually increasing from year to year.
Okay,
We had a year where everything kind of reset.
yeah,
I don't know, 10 or 12 years ago. It got really deep in 1920, 21, I believe, right before we started getting the couple of years where we got free lunches with the
yeah, the support,
COVID dollars and
Yeah.
things. But it started getting pretty deep then.
gotcha, okay, thank you. I missed your train of thought,
Yes,
didn't
I was gonna say, we have a motion and a second. We have any other discussion? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carried. Agenda item 13, consideration of personnel recommendation by Dr. Gresham.
Thank you, Mrs. Glover. the Human Resource Office has the following business to bring before the board tonight. Agenda item 13.1, consideration of employment. Autumn Golshauser, temporary second grade teacher at Oakdale Elementary, and non-certified staff, Abigail Helms, ABS program assistant at John H. Castle, Sarah Zent, program assistant at WEC, Megan Reinhardt, program assistant at Oakdale Elementary, Barbara Williams, cafeteria float, Lisa Cannon, 4.75-hour cafeteria position at Castle North, Kim Connolly, 3.0-hour cafeteria position at Tecumseh High, Emily Heim, program assistant at Chandler Elementary, Sarah Meller, Braille program assistant at Castle South, and Andrea White, APS program assistant at John H. Castle Elementary.
So moved.
Second.
I have a motion by Mr. Baker and seconded by Mrs. Wilhelmus, considering the employment of certified and non-certified staff. We have any discussion? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carried.
Thank you. Agenda item 13.2, leaves. Morgan Scales, program assistant at Logue. Tyler Mazarik, second grade teacher at Elberfeld Elementary. Stephen Hess, bus aide. Noel Harada, 4.75-hour cafeteria position at Castle High. Lucy Nellis, special education teacher at Newburgh Elementary. Peyton Aarons, visual arts teacher at Castle High. Megan Beeler, program assistant at Tecumseh High. August Richardson, program assistant at Boonville High. Kirby Allstott, special education job coach. Mary App, program assistant at Boonville Middle. Samantha Blackburn, program assistant at Castle North. And Stormy Pulling, 3.5-hour cafeteria position at Boonville Middle.
Motion to approve.
I have a motion by Mr. Scanner.
Second.
We had
Sorry.
Mr. France beat you.
Oh,
I was too quiet.
On approved leaves, do we have any discussion? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carried.
Thank you. Agenda item 13.3, report of transfer, Sherry West, cafeteria float to a 3.5-hour cafeteria position at Oakdale Elementary. 13.4, resignations, Bradley Allstott, science teacher at Castle High, resignation effective December 19, 2025. Kayla Byers, program assistant at Boonville Middle, resignation effective January 23rd, 2026. Wayne Causey, ABS program assistant at John H. Castle Elementary, resignation effective December 19, 2025. Michaela Bunner, ABS program assistant at Chandler Elementary, resignation effective January 16, 2026. Jessica Thompson, temporary special education pre-K teacher AM only at Logue Elementary, resignation effective January 9th, 2026. And 13.5, retirements. Penny Titzer, counselor at Castle North Middle School, retirement effective May 29th, 2026. And Jane Baker, family and consumer science teacher at Tecumseh High School, retirement effective May 21st, 2026.
You can't leave Mrs. Baker. Our kids love you.
43 years is long enough.
I understand. I understand. Thank you, Dr.
Congratulations, Jane.
Gresham.
Teaching or putting up with you?
The next agenda item is number 14, reports, Dr. Redmond.
We just have one report this evening, and that will come from Director of Student Services, Dr. Walter Lambert.
The only report I really have is about the upcoming safety meetings, just a reminder about that. We have tomorrow at Tecumseh High School at 7 o'clock in the auditorium, and then next Tuesday at the auditorium at Castle High School at 7 o'clock as well. So had a good turnout at Boonville High School and hope to have that same and better turnout even at the next schools. So thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. Other board business? I would ask the board to consider appointing a legislative liaison. Do you have any nominations?
Nominate Ms. Linda Glover.
I second that.
I'll third that.
You might be stuck.
Fourth, fifth, and sixth.
You're stuck, Mrs. Glover.
Thank you very much.
If
No
you
need to
accept.
take a vote.
Accept.
Do we have any other discussion? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Thank you. Luckily, it's a short session.
Yes, thank goodness.
Okay, another thing, I brought forth the code of ethics, just to, and asked the board to consider reaffirming the adoption of these ethics. and reaffirming your commitment to abide by the code of ethics. I would entertain a motion if anybody wants to make it.
For clarity, this has been our policy, we're just reaffirming it.
Reaffirming it.
So
I want to
I-
bring it fresh out into the,
I will make that motion,
okay.
And it's 1,400, just
code
for
14.
everyone.
And I will second
Yes.
I have a motion by Mr. Baker, seconded by Mr. France. Is there any discussion? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carried. Ask that would be updated in the policy to show the reaffirmation of today's date. And with, I just happen to have a legislative report. And it's short and sweet. They're not really into the nitty-gritty yet. This is the second week of the second regular session of the 124th General Assembly. As mentioned before, it's a short session, so they hope to get wrapped up by February 27th. There are so far 700 bills have been introduced, 73 of which are related to public education and children. So there's only 7 weeks left. A couple of key bills to consider, one of which Dr. Redmond has brought forth or mentioned in her updates, is this wireless communication device policy. They're continuing to work on it and add some more guidelines and guardrails, and it passed out of committee and now moves to the floor for further deliberations this week. And then another big one, on that, both these key bills have been authored by Senator Ratz. And Senate Bill 199 with various education matters. It's a 25-page bill brought forth by the Indiana Department of Education, and the most prominent section of this bill imposes restrictions and bans on social media accounts for children. The bill is presently held in committee for possible amendment and then a vote this week. We get, as just a reminder, we have Mr. Spradlin sends out a legislative update. There's a live tracking bill within that email, plus on the School Board Association website. And then always go to the General Assembly website for the public. If you want to read all 700 bills, or if you want to track those, they're also on General Assembly. Yeah.
Are there some bills fixing, changing the property tax stuff that they had, and funding stuff that they have messed with the last session? or
Yes, that is, the
any
property
tweaks
tax
to that?
reform is still it's been reintroduced.
Okay.
So one other thing, in the spring, they reevaluated their budget and they cut because they anticipated a reduction in
Right.
revenue.
Mm-hmm.
The state has traditionally ended with a $2 billion surplus. Ironically, they're gonna end this year with a $5 billion surplus. So I would hope that if those cuts were seriously about the fact that they didn't see the income, that we will see some of that money flow back, since I don't think our state needs to hold $5 billion when they've cut programs, not just education, but a lot of other programs. And you might call your legislators and let them know that we need the money back.
And Linda, did you hear, I don't know if it was Governor Braun or someone, but they said that they were looking at putting in a 2% per year increase for the educational funds for the next 2 years.
Well, good, that will counteract that decrease.
But if we have that much money, maybe we,
Need more than 2%.
2% increase won't even keep us whole with inflation.
Yeah.
So thank you, but we want more.
so we need to monitor that too. And also, if you have not read the cell phone bill, that's a really important one, and it also includes like smart watches and other communicative devices. So that's one that If
Yeah,
you
for-
haven't taken a look at it, I think it's
It's
worth a
interesting.
look.
What,
For the public watching on the internet, you might wanna call your legislature. I mean, there are no phones at all, so if you've got high school students, I can see the place for that, but these older kids, they need their cell phones. I mean, it's working now. They have them during lunch.
I mean, we
Right.
feel
They don't have 'em
confident that
during
our,
instruction
what
time.
we've put in place based on previous legislation,
Yeah.
is working for us. I mean, because we already limit during passing period anyway, because we view that as instructional time, because you're
Yeah.
getting your materials, thinking through, going to locker, staying focused in and on school. And this is at high school. At middles, they don't have them during those times anyway. High schools, of course, we've allowed to have during lunch, and that seems to be working for us.
what was, you mentioned, Ms. Glover, the restriction, social media. Any other, like, any depth on that? Because I haven't read it, so,
Well,
like, they
there's-
can't be
there's
on
a-
it, or?
There's a House bill and a Senate bill.
Okay,
And what they were asking for age verification. If you're one of the bills is if you're 13 and younger, you're not allowed to use a social media account. 13 to 18, you need parental
Permission.
consent.
mhm,
And the social media companies will have to come up with age verification
Yeah.
and filters and so
That-
forth.
That's not really something we as a school board have to address.
No.
no, I just get
We don't
worried
need
that
a
if,
policy
but
for
if
that.
there's,
That's
yeah.
a parental thing that
Okay.
they're going to have to, like if my kid were 12 and I wanted them to have social media, I would have to sign off on it. So
gotcha,
it's not really a school board thing.
Yeah.
We're not signing off on social media for them anyway.
Yeah.
I don't
And
think.
one of the various education matters, but I don't know if it's the Senate or the House bill, but one of the trillion things they have introduced is that the different filters that are on school wireless devices to be strengthened to keep kids from using, when they take their Chromebooks home, they can't get onto these social media accounts. And they're just trying to put more filters and restrictions on place and.
And Dr. Revin, I think you can speak to that. I think we have a pretty
We do.
good system in place.
We do,
We
we do,
do.
and we have our filters set already.
Yeah.
Our IT department does a good job with that.
okay,
Okay,
interesting.
very good.
It's gonna be a whirlwind.
Yeah.
Grab on.
Yeah.
So our next board, we'll have a you wanna report on upcoming meetings?
Yes, please. Policy will be February 9th at 5:45 here at this building. And student learning and growth will meet tomorrow at the admin office at 11 a.m.
And construction committee meets tomorrow morning, January 13th at 7:30 at the administration building. And personnel will meet February 9th in this building at 6:15.
I just read off a bunch of committees and I didn't know they just sound so knits right there. It caught me off guard.
You're running a well-oiled machine here,
That's
Ms.
right.
Glover.
That's
I
well
tell you, it's efficient
I'm
here.
like- I'm
We
like-
have to
fall in line.
I'm like, wait, what are we waiting on here,
We
Mrs.
are
Glover?
working, we got a good team here, so I appreciate that. Our next board meeting, January 26th, we'll have a work session here at Central Services at 5:30, followed by the regular board meeting at 7 p.m. I hope you guys, if able, can attend the coffee chat, that you will sign up and join us at the
We're
Pathways
hosting, yes.
for coffee and donuts, and you'll receive some EGA points for participating. So,
And that's next Thursday,
Wednesday, the 21st.
Wednesday.
Yes, disregard my email.
Signed up for it.
True date is Wednesday, the 21st,
What time is that, sir?
9:30.
Thank you.
Free coffee and donuts.
Gotcha.
Thank you.
And go Hoosiers.
Yeah.
Oh, yes. Meeting adjourned.